Hi again guys, and welcome to of course another speed build, but also with a heavy dose of handling in there as well for Forza Horizon 4, this time for one of the best all-round cars in the game in terms of ability, and also one of the best because it's almost got a perfect 10 score for everything. It's like a 9.9 for top speed, but everything else is a full 10, so not too surprising that a car like this would be that good. It's already brilliant, it was intended for GT1 racing, so of course why wouldn't it be good? Now, as far as the tuning itself, you cannot swap the engine on this one, so it's not really something that you need to worry about. Plus, you've got nearly 1200 horsepower, so, I mean, it's not exactly lacking. As far as the rest, you don't have to fit all-wheel drive if you don't want to. You could leave it rear-wheel drive, as some people do prefer. I have fitted all-wheel drive, though, because it is quicker off the line, it's better off-road, and it's just more recoverable in terms of online racing. If someone bashes you off the road in a rear-wheel drive car, you can just wheel spin for hours, whereas if they bash you off in an all-wheel drive car, it's easier to correct yourself, get back on track, and keep going. There are just a ton of benefits. As far as the spec, well, as you can see, 1.9 to 60, 4.5 to 100, 270 flat out. So of course in a second we'll see how quickly or how quick it can actually go. But as far as the gearbox, I'd recommend a final drive of 4.3. Then for the individual gears themselves, 2.9, 2, 1.5, 1.18, 0.94 and 0.74. Then for the alignment, of course, if you do go for rear-wheel drive, you might want to have a bit of camber, some negative camber in particular. But with all-wheel drive, you simply don't need it. So we've got neutral camber, neutral toe, 4 degrees of caster for this one. Anti-roll is on 40 and 30, with springs on 95, 140, and, not too surprisingly, the lowest ride height. Dampers I've got on 11, 15, 5, and 7. Aero you definitely want set as low as possible for top-end speed. And for the diff, in a similar way to the Maciel tune that I did a few days ago, very similar kind of car, I'd recommend 100% on acceleration and deceleration because that works very well hand in hand with the all-wheel drive to give you a ton of grip, but also to still be really good through corners without being too heavy. And on that same point, that's why I've gone for 75% rear bias on the diff. Now, you could even take it up to 80%. It actually does slightly improve the top speed on the benchmark to 269.9, but that's down to you. It depends how much off-road ability you need, or in other words, how much recover ability, like in snowy conditions or rain, that kind of stuff. Now, this tune is on my storefront, surprise, surprise, so you can use the keywords down below to find it, or use my gamer tag, obviously, and all that remains is, of course, to take it out into a race to see what it can do. Now, as far as top-end speed goes, of course the F50 GT isn't exactly intended for that. Just like the Lotus GT1 or the Mercedes CLK GTR, it's much more about the acceleration and the handling up to about 200 miles per hour. Above that, it's uncharted territory for a car like this. However, it's brilliant. The handling is actually so sharp that I turned in too early, technically for the corner, and smashed straight into the railings instead of going to the outside. So you do need to bear in mind how good the handling actually is. It's super precise. It's not twitchy though, that's the good thing about it. It's a great rival for the Maciel. It's not as quick, it's about 12 or more miles per hour slower for top speed, but it's still rapid. It's more than fast enough and more than competitive enough for pretty much any kind of Group X racing. So if you use this tune or grab it from my storefront, I hope you have a ton of fun with it either way, and of course, click here on screen to see all of my other tunes. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.